You know, it's no coincidence that God had you guys on the fast.
Yes.
No coincidence. Even though we might think it is,
Mm.
God does everything for a reason.
Amen.
And there's a reason why he calls a fast for the congregation. Because he can call you to an individual fast anytime. But when he calls you for a fast for a congregation, that means he's getting ready to move the congregation. And move in the congregation. And he needs everyone to be in unity and to hear what he has to say.
Amen.
So when he calls the body to fast and pray, that means that he's trying to do a work in that body.
Amen.
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 So give yourselves a hand that you didn't, you know, turn it down. God gave me a word for the house. And I was trying to see when he wanted me to share the word for the house. That's why I was like, wow, y'all just came off a fast. And he gave me this word before I knew I was going to do this. So I was like, okay, well, if you're just going to have to make a way for me to share the word if you want me to say this word. So one morning, let me see if I can find it real quick. It's the 16th at 3:04 a.m. God woke me up and he said that CUMC needs to bring more life to the church. He said, I'll just read it. Working on the things to do that will cause people to come to the word. He said, the word says, be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. You must reach this generation that wants nothing to do with God or church.
Wow.
You must spend the time in the Word of God for strength and a plan to penetrate the darkness of this world. This generation is difficult than the generation before. It's not enough to say, I love God so I can go to church and live right. They must see the fire in you and the signs that follow you. Jonathan, he gave me this. He said, Jonathan is an example of this generation. In the mind, this generation's mind. He said, how do you reach him? It will be how you reach them. He said, where are we? Having this church in the basement is okay for now. It speaks of transitioning. He said people want to come and visit, but they want to see the permanent place of worship. So what has to, and that's the word, but what he has just also gave me was, how do we get from here to there? You have to begin to do what he just said, as far as allowing him to give you a strategy and a plan so that you can begin to bring the people. And what will happen is when the people begin to come because of signs and wonders that follow you, not Pastor Matt and Apostle, they got to follow you. Because when they follow you, then the people will see that you have your, that's in your sphere, that is in your atmosphere that you see every day. They'll see the miracles and signs and wonders happening in your life, and then they'll begin to follow you to where you go. But if they don't see no change in you, they're not going to follow you. Now, as I was here, God showed me, remember David in the tomb of Abdullah, what's that called? Where he had a whole bunch of mighty men, but didn't know they were mighty. They were in the tomb hiding, depressed, distressed, and all kinds of stuff. Misfits in that time. They were hiding in there until David came. When David came, David gave them purpose. And they were the mightiest army that faced that time when they came together. Why do I say that? God is bringing forth this army, this leg of the army, Christ Universal Mission Church, to do some mighty work. And we do it by them following and seeing the God in us. In us. Remember, the times before when pastors would just get up there and begin to say, you know, you need to be saved so you won't go to hell. That don't work for this generation. That don't work for this generation. Now, my mom and them generation, they were scared. What must I do to be saved? But with this generation, they scared. They have no fear. So you can't give them that. You got to be able to walk up to them and do something. Oh, you got cancer? Let me pray. Cancer gone. Oh, you got this? Let me do. Miracle signs and wonders have to come from you. How do you get there? In the presence of God. Fasting, praying, getting to that other place. We've lived too far and too long in this horizontal earthly place. We have to go up to get our strength. Amen?
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
That's all. We can go home. No, I'm just teasing. Hallelujah. So that was the word that he gave for this house. As far as the word for the message, let me see, did I get all my preliminaries out the way? And do what a good minister does, you know. If we would, we're going to read a little bit. Is that all right, y'all? Y'all got Bibles? If you don't, there's an app on your phone. Find one.
We got Bibles on the table.
You got Bibles on the table. I'm going to do both. I'm going to do an app. See if I find my phone. What do I do with it?
It's over there.
On my book? Okay. We're gonna do the King James version, and then I'm gonna try to do it in another version for you so you can get a clearer understanding. We're gonna turn to Joshua chapter 8. There again, no coincidence that you guys have just finished your fast. Our pastor in Jersey, Apostle Chris, he had us on a fast. We usually do our fast in the beginning of January. And he had told us, that, you know, he's so gracious to let us do our own fast, what kind of fast we want to do, as long as we fast. And so he told us to start on that Monday. He told us we could start on that Monday, but God had told me to start on the 3rd. So I was starting on the 3rd. So sure enough, the next day, that Monday, I get to work, and my coworker brings me 4 ice cold Cokes. Sits them on my desk and say, "Here, this is for you." And in my mind, I'm going, well, I could just not start today and just start on the 3rd, start on the 6th with everybody else, just so I can get that soda. But I was like, no, God, because truly fast means that I want more from Him there than I want here. I mean, because I can get a Coke after I finish.
That's right.
And so I fought that, and I won. Listen, I put them in my little drawer. I said, okay, I'm not going to touch them. I'm going to put them away. Man, I started thinking about that thing. I started giving them Cokes away. Here, take this. Because I didn't want the temptation, because we did 30 days. Well, the congregation did 30 days. Our pastor and his wife did 40. No, thank you. I'm not there yet. So they do 40-day fasts. We did 30. But I'm grateful because in that fast, it does give you strength to move on, to move forward, to hear, to tap into the spiritual realm. And that's the thing that we need to do right now. We have to tap into spirit, because flesh is not going to get it. Flesh is not going to get it. Okay, so I said Joshua 8, chapter 8, verse 1. We're going to do a little reading. I'm going to tell you now, anything that I can't pronounce, I'll let you know. And the Lord said unto Joshua, "Fear not, neither be dismayed. Take all the people of war with thee, and arise and go to Ai. See, I have given unto thy hand the king of Ai, and his people, and his city, and his land. And thou shalt do to Ai and her king as thou didst to Jericho and her king. Only the spoil thereof and the cattle thereof shall ye take for the prey for yourself. Lay thee an ambush for the city behind it. verse 3. So Joshua arose and all the people of war to go up against Ai, and Joshua chose out 30,000 mighty men of valor and sent them away by night. And he commanded them, saying, Behold, ye shall lie in the wait against the city, even behind the city. Go not very far from the city, but be ye all ready. And I and all the people that are with me will approach unto the city, and it shall come to pass, when they come out against us, as at the first that we will flee before them. For they will come out after us till we have drawn them from the city. For they will say, They flee before us as at the first. Therefore, we will flee before them. Then ye shall rise up from the ambush and seize upon the city. For the Lord your God will deliver it into your hands. And it shall be, when you have taken the city, that ye shall set the city on fire, according to the commandments of the Lord shall ye do. See, I have commanded you. Verse 9. Joshua therefore sent there forth, and they went to lie in the ambush and abode between Bethel and Ai, on the west side of Ai. But Joshua lodged that night among the people. And Joshua rose up early in the morning, the number of people, and went he and the elders of Israel before the people of Ai. And all the people, even the people of war that were with him, went up and drew nigh and came before the city, and pitched on the north side of Ai. Now there was a valley between them and Ai. And he took about 5,000 men and set them in lie ambush between Bethel and Ai, on the west side of the city. And when they had set the people, even all the host that was on the north of the city, and their liars in wait on the west of the city, Joshua went that night up in the midst of the valley. Verse 14. And it came to pass, when the king of Ai saw that they had hasted and rose up early, and the men of the city went out against Israel to battle, he and all the people at the time appointed before the plain. But he wist not that there were liars in the ambush against them behind the city. And Joshua and all of Israel made it if they were beaten before them, and fled by the way of the wilderness. And all the people that were in Ai were called together to pursue after them. And they pursued after Joshua and were drawn away from the city. And there was not a man left in Ai or Bethel that went not after Israel. And they left the city open and pursued after Israel. A few more verses. And the Lord said unto Joshua, Stretch out your spear stretch out your spear that is in thy hand toward Ai, for I will give unto thy hand. And Joshua stretched out the spear in his hand and toward the city. And the ambush arose quickly out of their place, and they ran as soon as he had stretched out his hand, and they entered into the city and took it and hastened and set the city on fire. And when the men of Ai looked behind and saw, and behold, the smoke of the city ascending up to heaven, and they had no power to flee this way or that way, and the people that fled in the wilderness turned back around, or it says turned back upon the pursuers. And when Joshua and all of Israel saw that the ambush had taken the city, and that the smoke of the city ascended, then they turned again and slew the men of Ai, and all other issues out of that city against them, so that there were in the midst of Israel some on this side and some on that side, and they smote them, so that there was none left of them that remained. And the king of Ai they took alive and brought him to Joshua, and it came to pass that Israel had made the end of the slain all inhabitants of Ai in the fields of the wilderness, and chased them, and when they all had fallen on the edge of the sword, until they consumed all the Israelites, returned unto Ai, and smote it with the edge of the sword. What is I'm saying? Everybody died. Okay? That was a long version of that, but everybody died. The title of my message today is Strategies that brings victory. Do it again. What does that mean? in chapter 7, Joshua was told by God to go take Ai. So he took his, and he sent spies out to check out the land. And they went to check out the land and said, oh, listen, this city is not as big as Jericho. And we took Jericho. So don't send all your men. Just send some. And so Joshua did that. He sent some of the men to go take Ai. And so when they went to go fight Ai, they started losing the battle. And Ai began to kill some people. So then Joshua and them took off and ran back. Okay? That's chapter 7. So then Joshua gets back, like some of us, go to God and like throws a tantrum. You told me to take the town. Why we lost? Why my men died? I mean, he was just groveling because they were supposed to win. And God let him do all his little pity parties. Y'all ever had a pity party with God? Yeah. You said to do this, Lord. And I did it and it didn't work. And I ain't gonna do it no more. And how we gonna follow you if that was, that's how we do. That's how we do, Lord, when things don't work out the way we think it's supposed to work out. And so we did that. Joshua did that. And God said so graciously, get up. Dust your clothes off. Somebody in the camp has sinned. That caused your defeat. Somebody in the camp has sinned. It wasn't Joshua, but somebody in the camp had sinned. So because somebody in the camp sinned, your people died. Judgment became, I was no longer able to keep you protected. He said, now go find out who it is. And this is how you do it. You go by leader, from father, son, and I will show you who took the tithe. Because normally when they destroyed the land, God told him for Jericho, don't bring back anything. Nothing. No prisoners, nothing. Don't bring back anything. One of the people, Achan, looked at some stuff and said, well, this looks pretty good. We don't need to burn this. We can take this and put this in our camp and everything. We can use this later. This is valuable stuff. This is good stuff. And so he did that, and he hid it among his stuff. In his tent. And because he hid it in his tent and didn't tell nobody else, and then went to battle, his people lost. Now they lost 35, I think it said 35 men. We might say, well, that ain't a lot. You took a couple of thousand, 35. But they were used to not losing anybody. So if the Lord is on your side, you shouldn't be losing. That's why I tell people, if you're going to play the lottery, make sure he give you the numbers. Amen. No sense of losing money.
That's right.
I'm sorry, I digress. Anyway, so that happened in chapter 7. So that's why they lost, because of what Achan did. So chapter 8, God goes to Joshua and says, go back. Do it again. This time, I want you to set up ambushes. This time I want you to put men behind here on this side, and you come in the front like you did before. And so Joshua said, what we're going to do is we're going to do it like we did before. But this time we're going to play like we lost. And we're going to run away. And while we're running away, I want y'all that's sitting there to take the city. What God showed me in that particular scripture was what you lost or failed in life, God can use that for your win.
Say that again.
Amen.
I want to make sure I quote that right. Yes. He will use your past failures to bring you a present victory. Okay? So think about your life. The things that we gave up on or didn't win on, he can turn that thing around and you can win on that thing. Okay? So the Lord says to do it again. He told Joshua, do it again. Try it again this time. This time, listen to my instructions. and do what I tell you to do. And don't deviate from it. Because Joshua was obedient and dealt with that person that stole the tithe and hid it in his thing, I said, Lord, that was pretty hard. They killed the dog, the cat, the fish, anything that had to do with that man. His whole family had to be wiped out because he did it. That he did it. So his whole family is wiped out because he took from what God told them not to take. People died because he took what God says not to take. How you can't fight on God's battle and don't listen to what God said. You just can't. It's not possible to win. It's possible to fight, but it's not possible to win. And you may think you're winning, but then you'll turn around and see something happens. And if you think about it and ask God, he'll be like, okay, remember when you... Because you be like, Lord, why this happened? I go to church every Sunday. Why you let the devil come at me like this? He's like, I didn't tell you. I didn't do it. God set up principles. He set up guidelines. He's methodic in what he does. And when you go against what's already there, you reap the benefits of that against. I like to use it as this. You know, when we tell our children, we say, don't touch the stove because it's hot. You know, we've all told them that. Don't touch the stove because it's hot. We know it's hot. We know it's hot. They may not experience the hotness, but we're trying to protect them from what could happen. The consequences of touching the stove. And it's hot. So when the kid, because I used to get this story all the time, why does God let people die? And I'm like, no. There's things that he set up. So when kids go, after we have told them, don't touch the stove, it's hot. When they touch the stove and burn themselves, do you blame yourself? No, I think it's y'all fault because you shouldn't have had a stove in the house. You didn't have a stove, then the kid wouldn't get burned, right? Just take everything out so the kid won't get burned. No, you set guidelines and principles and instructions so that the kid will be able to maneuver in life without being burned or getting hit or doing all these things. You say there's a car running across the street. Look both ways before you cross. If they don't look both ways before they cross and get hit, that's on them. Yes, you told them you don't want that to happen. You don't want them to be hurt. But if they make the choice to do it, that's one of the consequences that come. My mom's talking about me right now. She said, "Oh, get that electrician." I stuck a key in the socket. Sorry. Yeah, we do things, right? Amen. So the people in the Bible, they did things against what God had instructed, and therefore there was consequences from that. He wants us to be able to be victorious in things when he gives us strategies to work things out, strategies to be productive, strategies to take on what needs to be taken on. The days and times of us not doing anything in life are over. Actually, they've been over. They've been over. We just come into realization that it's over. So if God is going to give you instructions, like I said, he's giving you instructions to win.
Amen.
To win and to beat the enemy. You know, people say, well, the devil been here a long time. He's way smarter than us. Yes and no. Yes, he is, but no, because God says we have help. And the Holy Spirit is supposed to reveal to us things. And the Holy Spirit has been here longer than he. Amen? Amen. So we have to be able to reach and grab what we need. The problem is when we don't go to the place that we know to get information. And we try to do it on our own thinking. Our mind is too small. It's too small. You know what? The Bible says we can have faith of a mustard seed and we can do great things. He didn't say that about our mind. He didn't say we can have a little mind and we can do great things. We have to become one with Christ so that our minds be expanded so he can show us how to win. This make any sense?
Yes.
Okay. So Joshua did that and he won that thing. I wanted to read a little bit in the Message, just a little bit. I won't read the whole thing. A little bit out of the Message Bible, because the Message Bible, I call it the homeboy version. You know anything about the homeboy version?
Makes sense.
Hallelujah. Let's see here. Come on. I hate when things run small but slow. Joshua. Okay. Get my help. And God says to Joshua, don't be timid and do not make much, let me try it again. God says to Joshua, don't be timid and don't so much as hesitate. Take all the soldiers with you and go back to Ai. Remember that's in verse 1. I have turned the king of Ai over to you and his people. Do to Ai and his king what you did to Jericho and his king. Only this time, this is God's being gracious. He says, only this time you can have some of the stuff. This time I'll let you have some stuff. But I want you to set an ambush. Okay? Joshua took the soldiers and marched to Ai. He took 30,000 men. I'm scanning here. Okay, he says, this is the instructions Joshua gave. He says, look sharp now. Lie in ambush behind the city. Get as close as you can. Stay alert. I and the troops with me will approach the city head on. When they come out to meet us just as before, we'll turn and run. They'll come after us, leaving the city. As we are off and running, they'll say they're running away just like the first time. That's your signal to spring from the ambush and take the city. God, your God, will hand it over to you on a platter. Once you have entered the city, burn it down. God says, do it. Go to it, and I've given you orders. So we know the story. God's given us orders. He's given us orders for this church. He's given us orders for our lives. He has given us orders for how we want to maintain our families. He's given us orders. How many of us have checked the orders since 1950? You know that in the Army they do go and get fresh orders, right? God told me in 1967 that I was going to be a preacher. Okay. Now what? What you supposed to do? What you supposed to do, right? I said, okay, so you're going to be a preacher and that's it? That's it? No. There's more instructions, just like God just said this morning. He says, I want you to be able to reach this generation. Be wise. How do you reach this generation? You can't reach it with the old stuff. Going around passing out tracts, that's nice, but that's not going to work. One or two people might say, well, my mother used to take me to Bible study a long time. One or two. But most of them are like, no, we don't need Jesus like that no more. Back in the day when they were slaves, they needed Jesus. So we don't need them like that because, we got education. We can think and we're intellectual and we know how to reason and get things together. So we don't really need Jesus like that anymore. We don't need to, yes, Jesus has come. I mean, he's healing people. But, doctors have said that if you take this and you take that and you do this and you do that, then I can have this and that and that. But have y'all listened to them commercials? Yeah. You can take this for your headache, but it's going to cause you to stop breathing. Your heart will stop. Your legs going to fall off. But do take it because it'll stop you from having that. What?
Right.
I'm like, I look at Mark sometimes, my husband, I'll be like, did you just hear that? She just broke the bumps off her arms, but she got to go in case she stopped breathing. Her breath may hit this and the liver may go away. But for bumps, I don't wear the bumps. I'm take the bumps. I can breathe. But they do all this with the intellect because they don't think that you need Jesus. And then a lot of them that go to church, when we talk about our people, a lot of people that go to church and their intellect, just tell me how to be successful. Just, in other words, just give me God's hand. Give me what he can do for me. I don't want to see him though. Because if I get close to him, I have to change. So just give me what he got. I want his hand. I don't want his face. Because if he gets in my face, he start telling me stuff. He start showing me things.
That's right.
And I don't want to change. I just want to have the stuff. And it's not saying that you can't have the good life. Because you can. God says that you can. We are royal priests, right? We are supposed to have it. Our Father owned it all. But get this. He gave it to the children of men. What does that mean? That means it belongs to us. But what we have done in prior times, and for not knowing all of the information, the generations before has released it to the enemy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Monica and them may not know what I'm talking about because they're a little younger. But back in the day, if you were saved, you weren't supposed to go to the movies. Anybody remember that? Yeah, you go to the movies, you ain't saved. All of us being held right about now. You wasn't saved if you went to the movies. Why? Because they didn't understand what God was trying to do with media. They didn't understand what they were trying to do with movies. So the Christian body backed away from the filmmaking. And they let the enemy take over. Now we can't go to the movies because we're too busy doing this. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Because we have released it to the enemy. So we released the TVs to the enemy. We released media to the enemy. All this was supposed to be for the body of Christ, to get his gospel across the nations. But we released it, and then now we're trying to play catch up. I'm going to go get one station. I'm on one station. And then they put all the believers on one station so people that don't believe don't watch that station.
Come on now.
He's telling this army to arise and begin to take up what is his. Rise up and take what belongs to us. That is the kingdom. How do we advance the kingdom if we don't spread the kingdom?
That's right.
How do we advance if we don't move? Last time I checked, advance means some type of movement. I got to move. I can't sit here 30 years and with no movement. I'm not alive. I'm existing. I'm supposed to be taking over. There should be some stuff that I take over. There should be some lands I get. Do you know how hard Apostle, remember when y'all was getting ready to get that building and you had to fight the city? You had to fight why? Because he was trying to take possession of land. And when the enemy does not want to release land, because land is possession. And then when you take possession, that means that that's a part of the land that he don't have anymore.
That's right.
So he fights you in getting land. He fights you in getting properties because he knows that you're going to be able to do for the Lord in that property, in that land, and that takes away from him. It's all the army. It's a strategy. If he can take, who played Monopoly? What was the object of Monopoly? To get all the properties, right? It's because you will be the one, you be the man. Well, Satan in the garden took the properties from Adam. Well, I almost say he took it. He received it from Adam because Adam gave it over to him. So we've been trying to spend our life well, Jesus came and took the keys back and said, now y'all can go get it. He doesn't have a monopoly on it. You got to go get it, but you need to know strategies to get it. You can't just be going around the board because I'm the Monopoly player that just go around the board and give everybody my money. Because I'm landing on everybody's property. I'm just giving them money. And then I'm the first one out the game. Because I done gave up all my property. No money, no nothing, just making bad deals. That's what the enemy counts on for the church. Go make some bad deals. Go give away all your money so you will not get any land or property. so that you will not be able to take from me what I own. That's why you see these churches, these other churches and members beginning to possess property, because that's a land that we're pushing back Satan. Nope, you can't have Luna. Go back. Nope, you can't have this street. Go back. And that's how we progress. That's how we advance. We take land, we take property, and we use it for the glory of God. Okay, how do I get the youth of today? Okay, well, I'm going to buy this building over here, and I'm going to turn it into a youth rec center that the youth can come and hear about God, but not just be beat up beside the head about God, but see me live a life of glory to the God. See me live a life that is pleasing unto the Lord, but yet I can still play ball, but yet I can still do this. But they need to see that, because what the world is showing them is that you go and steal, rob, and kill so you can do that. No, we're telling them that you have something inside of you that you can go and become the doctor. You can go and become the lawyer. You can go and become whatever God wants you to be. You don't have to be the drug person. You don't have to be the one that's under there, the flunkies, going around here with guns and stuff, trying to be somebody important. You were born a king or a queen.
Amen.
You were born into royalty. You don't have to prove yourself.
Amen.
You just got to hear the strategies that God has for your life.
Amen.
And there is strategies. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care what has happened to your life. God has a plan and a purpose for you. Right now, today. One of my co-workers was telling me, she said, I'm a little nervous about the president that's in the office right now. Because, he's just doing so many things. I'm just a little nervous. And how do I pray for a man like that? I know believers are supposed to pray, but how do I pray when I see him doing all kinds of stuff? I said, what do you want him to do? Pray that. Lord, I thank you that he will have his eyes open to see from you, hear from you, and see the things that you want, that you will surround him by men and women of God that will decree and declare in his life to stray him. That's how you pray. And she said, oh, okay. She said, because I'm a little fearful. I said, why? I said, God wasn't shocked that he won. God was like, oh my God, he won. God already knew.
Right.
He knew. He already had a plan in place. He already got a plan in place. Have you asked him what the plan was? Have you asked him, how do I pray for your plan to come to pass? Or is it that sometimes we're so comfortable that we need somebody crazy? Did I say that? Yes, I'm sorry. We need somebody in office that will shake us up. Because nobody will move from their spot until they become uncomfortable with where they are. The government is not supposed to be taking care of the people. The church is. There shouldn't be programs just in the government. The government should be coming to the church and say, how can we deal with these issues? That's what they're supposed to be doing. And we're supposed to have a solution. Instead of running to the government and saying, can you give me something? Yeah, it's like, oh, don't get me on that day. I already said that. She recording, I can't say that. But we're supposed to be the leaders. We have been duped by the enemy, thinking that we are still in slavery and we have no say.
Come on now.
Brother John was teaching this morning and he said we can speak like our Father spoke. Yes. The problem is we don't believe nothing we say.
Amen.
We don't believe what we say, therefore we don't get the results that we need to see. When you start believing what you say, you'll start to see the results of what you said.
That's right. Amen. That's right.
If you truly believe, I bet you I can't convince that Prince Harry. I can't convince him that he is not in royalty. I can't convince him that.
That's right.
He knows that. Even though his mother's not here. It's in his bloodline. He knows that he's an heir. So he knows that when he speaks, he expects things to happen. He's operating in his authority of royalship. We begin to pray and operate in the non-authority of being peasants. I use that word. I even go to work. I said I go to work and they think I'm a peasant. I ain't no
Ain't
peasant.
no pet. That's right.
I own this joint.
Yeah.
I may not have the paycheck to prove it yet. But I own this. You have to believe
That's
what you
right.
say. You have to believe, and it's going to take some time because we have convinced ourselves that what we say don't mean. Okay, let me give you an example. I want to borrow some money, but I know he's going to say no. What just happened?
You just defeated yourself.
I didn't even believe in myself.
That's right.
So when he said no, I was like, see, I told you. You said it. You have what you say.
That's right.
Now, what if I say, well, I'm gonna believe God, that I'm gonna ask him for some money, and think to myself, well, he probably ain't gonna give it to me, but I'm not gonna say it. I believe God's gonna give it to me no matter how it comes. I'm believing that this is gonna take place.
That's right.
Amen.
Amen.
Things will begin to change when you start to think differently. You start to think, and am I saying you think more highly of yourself than you ought to? Because that's what the church will tell you. You think too highly of yourself. No. It says, then you ought to. That means that there's a percentage of it that you should be thinking highly of yourself.
Amen. Amen.
Of yourself. And that does not mean that what you went through didn't happen. That does not mean that what you have experienced in life didn't affect you in some kind of way.
Oh, say that again.
It has affected you, but you have to get past it.
Amen.
You have to go through this thing. You can't stay where you were hurt.
Amen.
You can't stay there.
Amen.
Amen.
You have to move on. If you don't move on, you're going to be stuck there, and life will steal from you what God had planned to give you.